Hello and welcome everybody out to Game of the Month discussion number 46. It has been so long that we've been doing these now. It's amazing. But anyway, this month we are talking about the one and only Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. I know this is going to be backwards to all of you. I don't really care because I just didn't feel like fixing my camera today. Star Wars Episode 1 Racer, racing classic to coincide with the release of Star Wars Episode 1 The Phantom Menace back in 1999. And as we just discovered literally 2 minutes ago, this game actually came out a day before the movie. So, kind of a big ol' spoiler alert there. Not really, but, yeah. Anyway, this is a longtime favorite of mine, and joining me to discuss this one this month, we have the one and only SMWiz once again. Wiz, thank you once again for joining us on this month's discussion.
Happy to be here supporting the channel, regardless of what, the community chooses.
As long as it's not Sonic.
As long as it's not Sonic. I'm gonna be sick that day, whatever you guys talk about that game.
Yes, but anyway, so Wiz ain't much of a fan of the prequels, and I'm sure we will be hearing loads of that momentarily, but I'll go ahead and share how I got started with Episode 1 Racer. I actually started out with the N64 version of the game, got it for Christmas 1999. Played the heck out of this game, and I still go back and revisit it pretty frequently. It's got numerous console iterations. So originally it was on N64, it saw a Dreamcast release, and then it also had a PC release, and I made myself a little custom PC physical disc for it for this month, for this discussion, using the GOG release. So it's really fun, but it later got re-released on Switch, Xbox One, PS4, and that version actually ended up being pretty decent after a couple of patches, so if you pick that one up now, it's actually pretty good, but on release, it was a little disappointing, but whatever. But yeah, so Episode 1 Racer, N64 version, I'd say, is probably the hardest one, just because of the fluctuating frame rate, and that is where I like to revisit it, just because the game is way too easy now. But how'd you get started with this one, Wiz?
That's funny, because like with all these other games we've done, I've had a very clear, distinct memory. And this one, I sat there, I'm like, I don't actually remember when I first played this one. It was in the N64 era. And like I said, I was like, I don't remember renting this. And the closest I could figure, like, as I kind of racked my brain trying to remember, I'm like, I think that my little brother had a friend and we were over at his house and played there. I think that's where I first encountered this.
Interesting.
Yeah. So this one didn't make quite the impression on me.
Well, neither did the movie, so I guess that makes sense.
Oh no, the movie made quite the impression. I can tell you the exact day that I saw that film. I can tell you the exact day that I saw that film
Oh,
because
man.
my local theater, you got a free movie on your birthday. And I wasted my birthday movie on that film. I'm not bitter.
See, that's what's funny. Episode 1 still remains the movie I've seen in theaters the most in my entire life. Because everyone took me to go see it. Because, like, I went and saw it with my parents. I went and saw it with my cousins. I went and saw it with my friends. I went and saw it with another group of friends. So I think during its original theatrical run, I saw it about 5 or 6 times. And then I went back and rewatched it when they did the 3D release, and then the 20th anniversary release, went and saw it again. So it's like, I've seen this movie in theaters like 9 times.
My dad saw the original Star Wars in theaters 10 times. My
Man, nice.
grandpa couldn't get it, and he's like, I don't understand why you waste all that time and money, Yeah.
That was what was great, though. It's like, I only paid for it twice to go see this movie in theaters. Every other time, it's like, yeah, come on, come with us. Like, here's a ticket. I'm like, cool.
That's funny.
I was a happy 13-year-old about that one, I guess. Actually, I would have been 12 when that one came out. It was early 99.
The funny thing was, you said how many times you see it in theaters, and I thought, what's the movie I've seen in theaters the most times? And the funny thing is, like, There are actually a ton of movies that I've seen in theaters twice, but I was sitting here, I'm like, I don't think I've ever seen one in theaters a third time. And then I stopped and I'm like, oh no, actually, there's one I've seen in theaters three times. And it was a movie that I saw the first time, and I was like, oh, I'm for a bad trip because the tickets for the next two viewings had already been covered. And and this, we'll get plenty of fanboy flame wars going on in your comments over this one. So the movie I've seen in theaters the most times, and that I didn't feel a need to see again, was Star Wars Episode 8: The Last Jedi. I saw it. My company had a theater booked, so we saw it like, on opening night at like midnight. We had purchased tickets for ourselves, before when they opened because we didn't know my company was going to do that. And then my parents had got tickets because we were going to be going down to see them in 2 weeks, and those were pre-purchased. So,
I still have a video talking about my spoiler-free impressions of that on the channel somewhere.
Nice.
That is the only sequel movie that is worth watching, sadly. Even how bad it is. It just shows you how much worse the other two are.
See, the thing here for me, so yeah, I'm not gonna champion the sequel trilogy. Like, that's not what I'm gonna do at all. I will forever lay the blame at Kathleen Kennedy's feet for treating a AAA franchise like a college student film project.
Yep.
Absolutely insane work.
Yep.
You want to have 3 different directors do each movie? That's okay. Because you're going to sit down, you're going to write out the overarching story, right? So that we can have a complete act 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, no. Well, hey.
I'm going to send the 3 directors off to separate corners to write a story without collaborating with each other. And then we're going to come together and we're going to try and mash it. And director 3 is going to look at what a garbage dumpster fire this is and quit. So then we'll tell director number 1 to pick up and try to dovetail the whole thing. So,
oh man,
it's like, here's the thing, like, without even getting into like the entirety of the movie, I reject the entire initial premise for The Last Jedi. I'm like, and don't come at me with expanded universe, because if it wasn't on the big screen, it doesn't count for anything, okay? But nowhere in our Star Wars movies did we have the ships needing gasoline or whatever it is they're fueling up with, okay? So suddenly this is the whole plot, is that they're out of gas, so they can't do these hyper speed jumps because somehow Palpatine returned, but Episode 8, somehow they know how to track us, But here's the thing. So we're just gonna run. And the First Order with this huge armada of ships is gonna chase. But somehow magically every single spaceship in the universe, regardless of how big or small, moves the exact same speed. So it's impossible to overtake them. Reject categorically.
And why they wouldn't just send
yes,
light speed a few in front of them.
Hammer and anvil. You've got like 30 ships there. Have half of them do a baby hop ahead, turn around, and come back.
Yep, exactly.
You're like, no, actually, what I think would be good is a slow speed 3-day chase. 3-day chase. And while we're doing that, if they're launching little pods, that's probably nothing to be concerned with. There's no reason for us to shoot those or chase them or anything.
Yep.
It's probably irrelevant. I bet you they didn't put the leaders of the resistance in there to escape, right? Like,
yep. Anyways, it's bad. It's bad.
There's absolutely no sense in the entire setup of the story. So I'm completely like divested from the stakes, because like I need a word stronger than plot armor to describe that nonsense.
Oh man. And like I said, somehow it still manages to be the best one of the 3. Like, they're so bad. But anyway, this all ties into Episode 1 Racer because reasons. So,
Star Wars.
Yeah, exactly. Can I just get one thing off my chest real quick about what I hate most about Star Wars? Just real quick here. This is just another little mini tangent. The one thing I hate most about Star Wars is the fact that they can't decide if light speed hyperspace is instantaneous or if it takes time. Depending on which movie you're watching, it takes time.
Yep.
Other times, it doesn't. Like, it makes no sense. So think
like
back to the original Star Wars. They are in hyperspace for a few days from Tatooine to go to Alderaan. And then later in the series, it's like, all right, and now we're instantaneously from Hoth to Bespin. But not really. But not really with that example. That's a bad example, but it's pretty bad.
And then there's, Empire, where, Luke leaves Hoth, and, R2 chirps at him. He's like, no, leave it manual control. I want to fly for a while. And it's like, why? There's just like floating through the blackness of space. Like,
I want to take the scenic route, man. I think I want to fly by that planet over there. It'll only take us 10 extra days.
Well, I mean, it's not like he can see it, right? All he's got is a field of stars, and he's like, I'm gonna hold this and keep my foot on the pedal or whatever, or hand on the throttle, whatever. Just just cruise.
Yeah.
It's like, from your perspective, you're sitting still. What are you getting out of this?
Oh man.
But,
see, that's what's funny, because like, I love the Clone Wars TV show. I know that you didn't get into that as much, but it actually is really good Star Wars media. But they have the same problem. Sometimes hyperspace takes a while, and other times it's instantaneous. So and I'm rewatching the show right now, even just because I felt like rewatching it. And so in the first season, Padme and Ahsoka get infected by this deadly virus, and so they have to go to this other planet that's off in separatist space, to find something to make an antidote for it. And it's just like, whoop whoop, we're back. It's like, there's no.
They just go through instant transmission to their way there and back.
It's like they would have died from the freaking poisoning by the time they made it to that planet. Like,
which also seems like you should bring them along, so as soon as you have the antidote, you can just administer it.
I know, right? But anyway, so.
But no, I was like, with that though, this was the complaint I have. Like, I like, I enjoy a number of the MCU films, not all of them, but Ant-Man is a very fun film, but that upsets me for the exact same reason, because they can't decide whether or not you retain your mass or not when you shrink.
Yeah.
Because sometimes, like, he shrinks and a guy's holding a gun and he runs along the gun. Like he weighs ounces. And then other times, guys carrying a tank, an Abrams in his pocket, and it weighs ounces. Other times he's little and punches a guy, and the guy gets just cartwheeled because he gets hit with the mass of an almost 200-pound man punching him in the face.
Yeah.
It's like they just decide the rule was, hey, what's going to be cooler here? If he weighs the same or doesn't weigh the same.
Yep.
Because like the other thing, he falls out the window and he's teeny and he hits it and he like crumples in the car. And
yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
Make up your mind.
Yeah.
Do you retain your weight or do you not retain your weight?
Let's do a quick shout out to the TV series of 24 for giving us real-time interactions with everything.
Well, if you're going to do that, we could shout out before that. MASH did an episode of that where they had somebody in real time because they had 20 minutes to unplug an aorta.
Yeah.
And before that, the movie High Noon, the entire film is shot in almost real time, has a clock going in the bottom. It's a Western.
Oh, that's fun.
I haven't seen that one. To the shootout at Dune.
Yeah, that's pretty cool then.
Oh yeah, it's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, just like consistency. Consistency, yeah. Consistency. And anyway, that ties into episode 1 racing again, because this game has really consistent controls and it's really nice to play. Anyway, so there's our segue back into the actual topic at hand.
We will talk about this game eventually.
But anyway, so the premise behind episode 1 racing is obviously it is an entire game dedicating to the pod racing scene of Star Wars episode 1, which is in and of itself a callback to Ben-Hur, which just got re-released again on 4K Blu-ray, so I'm excited to rewatch that eventually.
Good old Johnston.
Dude, that was a great movie, man.
So good. So good.
It was so long, but it's so good.
It doesn't matter when it's good, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a long movie, as long as it's good, it doesn't matter the runtime.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I could sit through the Lord of the Rings extended editions as my main method of rewatching them. But anyway, so pod racing sequence and Duel of the Fates are obviously most people's favorite aspect of episode 1. Some people refuse to talk about the rest for reasons. And so having an entire video game dedicated to the pod racing scene was a natural tie-in. Like, it's a great premise to have a racing game utilizing that tech in the futuristic feel. And so it's along the similar vein of F-Zero, Wipeout in terms of style of racing. Obviously not one-to-one the same because there's nuances between them, but if you're into those futuristic racers, you know exactly what you're getting into with Episode 1 Racer. And again, it does have very simple controls, very consistent controls, which I appreciate. So just using N64 version for example here, it's like you hold A to accelerate. And that's pretty much it. Then you steer with the thumbstick. And so there's some different things, like you can rotate the pod up on its sides using the C buttons. You can activate a slide mechanic using the Z button. And then you can repair your pod, because it can take damage, with the R button.
Mhm.
And so all very cool. And then the best aspect of the steering, if you press forward, it angles your engines to go down more to give you more speed, which then lets you activate a secondary boost ability. When a meter fills up, you can tap A again, and it'll give you boost. And then if you hold back on the thumbstick, it tilts your engines up to make you slow down a little bit to make some turns easier to make without having to like put on the brakes, which you do with B. And so there's other little nuances like temperature control. When you're boosting, your engine temperature will increase until your engine actually catches on fire, which is exceptionally cool. And again, you can repair it with the R button. And then if you take too much damage, you will explode, have to respawn, you lose time, giving other racers opportunity to get ahead of you. So, story-wise, there's basically no story to this game. It's just pick a character, go race.
It's the Sonic. Gotta go fast.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's okay because they actually came out with a pseudo sequel to this game on the PS2 where they did try to have a story to it, and it was just the most ridiculous thing ever. It was Sebulba still holding a grudge against Anakin after 5 years, challenges him to a series of pod races while he's in Jedi training, and the Jedi Council's like, yeah, that sounds like a great idea, go for it.
That's
But
just how much
anyway.
they disliked Anakin. They're like, he wants to leave? Yeah, go. I don't care the reason.
Seriously. But there's 3 cups split between like what, 9 races each, or is it 10? I don't remember off the top of my head. I should have looked that up before we went. But then after you beat those, it unlocks bonus races, and you get 4 of those. So when you beat the last one, you unlock 2. And so overall, it is an incredibly short racing game, because most of the races can be finished in the typical 3 to 6 minute mark of arcade racers, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing, but since I've been playing this game for almost 30 years and play it quite regularly, it is a very short game to complete. And so when we went through it this month, I beat it in about 2.5 to 3 hours. But there are a lot of cool elements to this game, though, because like you get to upgrade your pod. Like you have a whole spec sheet that you get to upgrade in the junkyard or Watto shop, and so that aspect to it for me is a lot of fun. I think that's one of the reasons why I like it, is that upgradability without it being overly complex like simulation racing games.
Yeah, and for me, like I enjoy racing games, but I mean, like, even to say racing, there's such a wide genre, right? Because like I had a buddy who loved, like the rally games or anything that
Oh,
like
dude.
he he loved the games where like you were working, the clutch and shifting gears and like trying to be as realistic as possible. Like he loved all that, and I was like, man, if I wanted to do that, I'd go get on a car on a real track. It's like I like, the silly racers. I like, the Mario Karts and the Diddy
Yeah.
Kongs and the, cruising series and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Like that's
San Francisco
um
Rush, man. Heck yeah.
yeah, like all that good stuff, Extreme G, that series.
Yes.
Um give me silly racers with items and all that.
We all know this
Um
is still one of your favorites too.
F-Zero GX is awesome. I actually prefer F-Zero X, if nothing else, because of the death race mode. It's like you're gonna put me on a track, and the only goal is to destroy my enemies as fast as possible. Say no more.
But
Uh,
yeah, arcade racing games are truly the best. That's oh, they're
yeah,
so good.
and
I get
yeah,
the
and so
appeal of the simulation
mhm.
ones, and obviously, if you don't have a lot of money, you can't just go and do it on a real track. So, I mean,
Yeah, and I mean that's the thing is like, because I mean I say I'll do it on real track, but I don't own a rally car, and I'm never gonna own a McLaren F1, right? Like, it's like just
oh
casual $2.5 million on a car. I'm like,
yeah,
no, 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 no,
yeah.
no.
Oh, you don't
That's
want to do that 50-year payment plan? Come on, man.
I'd default in the first month, bro. Like, you know, I'm like, then the tow guy's gonna have to, that'd be funny though, just to dare the tow guy. It's like, you see that car? I dare you to try and hook it up without scratching it. I dare you.
Serious though.
But no.
Rally racing games can be a lot of fun though too, because a lot of them still like you could have like an arcadey feel to it still. It's like, oh man, I enjoy those too.
Yeah. So anyways, like I I like the general idea of this type of a game because there's a certain level of arcade feel. Um I I don't enjoy the repairing mechanic in the middle of the race as much. Like, hitting a wall and all of a sudden, like, the car's not working as well. It's like, that's all of a sudden now I'm like playing one of the Project Gotham games or something, right? Or Gran Turismo, where I'm suffering consequences for my actions. And that's not what we play video games, okay? We play video games for escapism, all right?
Oh man. See, that's
But
one of the things I do like about this one because it's like you still have that damage indicator, but it's not as egregious as some other games. And
yeah,
that's where the sequel to this game went really, really wrong. Like the slightest bump, you're exploding. And you only get 3
yeah.
lives. And so it's like, I'm dead before the end of the first track. Like into the first lap, I mean.
Yeah, and that's the thing, like, I understand, so it's like, I'm not saying that's bad, I'm just saying it's not my cup of tea, because
Absolutely.
it's because I think it's a little unusual for an arcade racer to, like, do a thing like that, to have, like, collision damage, um,
Well, I mean, there
like
are a lot that did do that, though. You were just saying F-Zero X, Death Race mode, like you take damage in that.
yeah, but it doesn't slow you down really, but,
I mean, that's true. That's true. Yeah, the San
um,
Francisco Rush games you could explode into, set you back in
yep,
in your time.
yep, um, what was I gonna say? Like, the upgrade system, like, kind of a similar thing, like, going to Watto's shop or going to the junkyard and hoping for deals. Like, I understand, it's trying to make your racer better, but, like, that didn't speak to me as much because I just wanted to be racing. But unfortunately, as you get deeper in the game, you can't just ignore it because your enemies are upgrading and they're getting better and stuff, and so it's like you're compelled to play this game of economics, which again starts to dip too much into realism for me. Of like, wait, so now I got to pit crew fixing up the damage, and what I do in the race impacts what happens moving forward, and then I've got to take my winnings and go upgrade my car. So it's like, this is
Just
again not to
remember,
say that
you
it's a bad
always pick
mechanic.
winner
It's
takes all. When you start a race, you could adjust how the
yep,
earnings are split.
yep.
You
You could take
always pick winner takes all. Otherwise, you are screwed.
when you've got 100 hours plus in this game and you're going to get first. Sure, when you haven't played this game in a
Well, if
long
you know
time,
you're not going to get first, it's called start, quit.
I'm a gamer, okay? Like, I don't quit.
It's called tactically retreating to get a better position.
Doing the Marines, we don't retreat, we advance to the rear.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, that's one element of this game that I still don't fully understand, even all these years later, is the pit droids. So you could buy 3 pit droids, so you have a total of 4, and it repairs damage to your different parts and stuff. But the way they work is really weird, and if you like by like I said, I don't even know exactly how it works all these years later, but somehow you can make it so they'll never repair your engine. And so you could have the best engine, but you've damaged it so much that it's just worse than your starting engine, and the pit droids will never repair it. So it's like, all right, I got the best engine that is slower than the starting engine. And
Yeah,
so that's one element of the game that I wish like made
was more clear.
sense to me is the pit droids, because again, like they don't really make sense to me
So
all
the
these
funny
years
thing
later.
was, like, so coming back to this, having not played this game in almost 30 years, I didn't remember the pit droid mechanic like at all. But coming into this, I was like, all right, I know that I don't want to invest a lot of time in this game. And so I was like, let's go look up guides and strategies for, a couple of different things like tips for starters, speed run strats. Let's see where the cheese in this game is. Oh my goodness. The guide for like the pit droids and your hardware. Like I was reading this, I was like, okay, I'm not doing this because this is way too min-maxy for me. But like it's gnarly the science that's they've gotten this down to where it's like, yeah, you're gonna grind out the start doing the, winner takes all, so you can get enough money to buy the other three pit droids as fast as you can. And then you're going to the junkyard looking for a specific combination of parts. And then when you do this, you're just set up so that like the pit droids have repaired everything every race. And so you're like always just set up and stocked and good to go.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, that's too sweaty and try hard for me. I don't want to do. I'm like, I don't want to invest that much time in this game because even right there, that first step of grinding out until you get all the pit droids and stuff, I'm like, that's
It's
not
two
getting me to.
races. It's two races on winner takes all. It's good.
Yeah,
But see, that's what's funny because it's like Watto's shop is basically everything is retail, and then the junkyard you're getting all the used aftermarket
yeah.
or used secondhand stuff. I can't think of words right now, apparently. And so the parts that appear in the junkyard are randomized, and so you can get like the literal best parts in the game for relatively cheap because when you buy a new part, it's trading in your old part against the retail cost, and then you pay the difference. And so in the junkyard, since things are damaged, the price goes down considerably because of the damage. And so you can actually be trading in a worse part for this really good part, take a bit of a penalty on the performance for a race until the pit droid repairs it. And so this last playthrough I just did, I ended up getting the very best engine. It was completely damaged. It had like one sliver of red. And I traded in like my mid-tier engine for it for like 1,000 Trugits. So I was like, oh, I'm set as long as my pit droids repair this thing. Oh my gosh. And so they ended up repairing it. And so I was like, all right, all my stats are like middle of the board. Then there's my speed stat that's all the way at the end. I'm like, cool.
Well, I'm sure that handling and traction don't matter as long as speed is high.
Oh man, it doesn't matter what you got on the other things. You got that speed, you're just no, I like how much the stats actually do feel like they make a difference in this game, though. It's like when you start off, you're not going that fast. You have pretty good control, but then as you start getting faster, like it's harder to maintain that control. So having the traction, having the turning, having the acceleration, having the braking, like it all combines together to make a very nice feeling of control once you get up, like once you get up into those later races. Like it's cool. I like it. What can I say? I'm a sucker for this game. I think it just has great controls, and like the tracks themselves are like pretty nice. There's like what? Tatooine, Aldo Prime, Alistair. Don't remember what the orange one is.
Yeah, there's
And then
like
that I
8 or 9 worlds, aren't there?
think there's around like 5 or 6.
Okay.
Yeah, 5 or 6. I can think of 6 off the top of my head right now.
And then they have multiple tracks on each world.
Yeah, and they all build on each other too, which is really
Hmm.
cool. So like when you do the first set of tracks, it's like these are like their base
Which,
form.
which in that way is reminiscent of the F-Zero series, how you get things, like you have Big Blue and then you're going to do Big Blue 2 and,
Yeah.
things like that, where pieces of it look similar, but now it's like, now we have a zigzaggy portion that wasn't present in the other and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep. And so that's one thing I've always enjoyed about this game is redoing or going on to these later tracks since like you got that one key landmark that always remains the same. And so you're like, all right, I'm at that part. And it's like, oh, there's that. That's cool. It's like you very rarely actually get a completely 100% different track.
Hmm.
I can only think of like one track that does that. And it's a volcano in the jungle beach world. Um,
Yeah.
and like you're racing around the volcano and it doesn't have any of the landmarks from the other versions of that track.
Volcano ate them.
Apparently.
They got Pompeii.
Yeah, apparently. So, like, not a lot of distinct visual variety on tracks that take place in the same worlds, obviously, but you know, there's enough variety overall that it's nice. Like you got snow, you've got desert, you've got
Industrial.
industrial, you've got space, you've got gas. Like there's a lot of cool stuff going on.
Cat finally decided to jump up. She's been circling me for half this interview.
Oh, of course, of course.
If you go
Um
back and watch the VOD, you'll see at one point me make a face where it looks like I'm distinctly trying not to use my driving words. And then down here in the corner, you'll see the cat appear as she retreated. Because she only half committed to the jump and she used her claws to try and compensate for the
oh, oh,
half that she didn't commit to. And since I'm in basketball shorts right now instead of denim, that wasn't great for me.
yeah, yeah. Sounds about right.
Yes, I get it. I didn't clip your claws this week. That is my bad, but I do need you to exert maximum effort when jumping.
But the very last race of the standard 3 cups is an actual 1-to-1 replica of the episode 1 Tatooine that was shown in the movie. And I think that was incredibly awesome because it's one of the longer races in the game. And yeah, they 1-to-1 made it with what they were like given from Lucasfilm, if memory serves. And like it's just really cool. Like it's really cool to see it. Especially
Yeah, and
if you're a fan of that scene.
well, and I mean, and I think it's important, right? Because I mean, it's not like the pod racing is the crux of the movie, right? It is one brief portion of the story. And so if you're going to build a game that is based entirely off that scene, you probably need to capture and nail that scene in the game. So I
Oh yeah.
appreciate that they went to the trouble of trying to do a one-to-one recreation for that because it feels important, because I mean, if nothing else, your source material is so limited, why would you cut it?
Yeah, pretty much. And I mean, they got to build out this entire racing scene for the Star Wars
Mhm.
universe with this game too, which is pretty cool. Because
Yep.
in episode 2, when they're in the bar hunting the changeling, you could see pod racing up on one of the monitors. And I think it was supposed to be set on Aldo Prime. I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
was like, it's one of the worlds that was introduced via the game,
Yeah,
so
I don't
they got
remember
the
which
date.
one it was, so we could be actually here. I don't really care. But like they got to be part of expanding like this part of the lore, which is really cool.
Yep.
And you know, there's a crap ton of racers in here. Like a lot of them are featured in the movies. I think there are a couple of original ones. I don't remember, like Navaki.
When I think because I think there's two that you can only unlock with passwords, right?
Yes,
So
think
I think
so.
those are original characters, but I think the rest actually do come from the film. You know.
I think Navaki is original just because of the front, the engines being behind the pod instead of in front like every other one.
Mm, okay.
But other than that,
I could be
yeah.
wrong. It has been a very long time since I've seen the movie, and I didn't feel compelled to go do that level of homework for playing this
Oh
game
no,
for Game of
it's
the
fine.
Month.
Because yeah, I mean they've got most of them from the movie. Like I know they have all of them that were introduced in the movie for sure. Because it's like
Yeah.
you got Audi Mandrell, Ben Quadraneros, Dudbolt, Sebulba, and all those good classic names.
I was like, Sebulba is the only one I remember. Him and
uh,
Anakin are the only two where I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that guy in the movie. Everybody else, I'm like, you were probably there someplace.
yeah. Um. Yeah. Audi Mandrell is the one whose pit droid goes through his engine and takes it out like an idiot.
Uh,
So
that scene was, funny as a kid.
yeah, it's just embarrassing as an adult, but whatever.
Or like
So
that's a different problem with Star Wars Episode 8. They gave us one Porg stomping on the lightsaber while another Porg leans his eye down to peek down the barrel of the lightsaber handle, and they didn't have the guts to follow through with it. It's like, look, if you can lop a whole arm off and lay it in a pool of blood in the original Star Wars film, okay, you could impale a Porg for us.
which didn't make sense since it would have cauterized the
Cauterizes the
arteries
wound.
at the same time, but whatever. We won't care about that oversight since it was the original.
Yeah.
Oh
Um,
man. Anyway,
but anyways,
a lot of characters, which is really great.
yeah, and they give you like unique starting sets, it's like not all racers are, created equal in this. So like there is actually some value in, playing around with the different racers and see
Yep.
who you like, what, the feel of things.
Some of them keep their max speed higher, even with damaged engines, better than others, which is really nice because it's like I always play Anakin in this game. Like, sorry, I Anakin's my boy. So
Yeah. Yeah, I play Anakin too, typically. It was interesting again when I was looking at like the speed running scene, and it seems like pretty consistently they were choosing. I don't remember the guy. He looks like a bat. Um, but like that,
Naviki.
yeah, that was the guy the speedrunners were like honed in on. So I'm like, all right, there's something going on there with this guy.
Oh, he's got incredible top speed for the standard racers.
Be it.
And recalling when I used to really suck at this game as a child, I would choose Neviki on levels that had a lot of turns because you could kind of hit the turn without damaging your engines as easily as other racers because the pod's out in front.
Uh,
So
interesting.
I remember I could only beat some of the harder tracks with him just because I would go full on kamikaze and not die for it.
uh,
I'm sure there's way more involved technical reasons for that choice, but I'm just thinking back to when I was a kid, like that's how I would use them.
I mentioned I had a buddy who liked the rally games. I only ever beat him one time, and it was the dirtiest win ever, and he was furious with me because I was finally starting to get like to a place where I didn't like horrifically suck at the game, and I think he had had like one bad turn the whole race, and so like coming up towards the final stretch, he was in sight of me, and there was a turn that was like not a full 90 but a pretty sharp turn, and then the end. And so he starts slowing down and doing little drift. And I just straight up T-boned him because I was like, I've hit walls and you bounce. So I'll bet you this ricochets me the right direction. And sure enough, I hit him and I do a 90-degree turn ricochet the way I need to go. And it turns him into the wall. And so then I finished the race. He was furious.
Yep, that'll
He's
do
like,
it.
"That's not how you race a car." And I'm like,
It's how I race a
"I'd
car
be
right
good."
now, dude. It's in the game.
It's like my first place says otherwise.
I know, right? Oh man. So, like
Uh,
other arcade racing games of the era, Episode One Racer does have multiplayer for two people on the consoles.
mhm.
PC, I believe, actually had an online server that you could, or online capabilities you could use. Dreamcast was just to upload hide scores, unfortunately, but I did play this one a lot in two-player mode back in the day. Like it was a lot of fun. Um, At least I thought so. I don't know if anyone else really thought so, but I had a lot of fun with it, playing it with friends. Like, we didn't play it the most because we'd go and play GoldenEye and shooters and stuff instead after a while, but like, we would get a few races in, and they just never owned the game, so they never got up to my level at it, so it was mostly me stomping them, which was unfortunate, but we did use it to take the opportunity to learn some of the tracks' secret paths, because there are some secret paths in a lot of tracks, which is kind of expected of arcade racers of the era. Not always, but it's never been my favorite thing in the world to have like all these like secret shortcuts, but you know, I can appreciate them still, I guess. I don't know. It's still not my favorite thing because it's like you can't win in some games unless you know every single one of them, which I think is just absolutely awful game design.
And that's how you learn them, though, is you like, well, I guess I'll get in second or third place and tail the CPU and see where he goes.
Nah, it's pretty much.
Because, you know, you'll be like driving along in first place and then all of a sudden it drops to second. You're like, nobody passed me. And he's like, you know, super far ahead of you on the map. And you're like, what in the teleporting noise was that?
Yeah, pretty much. And then there's also, you know, other things that are pretty standard for arcade racing games, rubber banding. You know, that's one of the things that this game tuned really low. So that is one of the reasons why this game is so easy. If you pull ahead, they're never catching you unless you really, really screw up, because the rubber banding is just set so low. And if they pull ahead of you, you're not catching up ever because they're not making mistakes. So, well, I mean, you are catching up because they go slow. Like, they don't ever really seem to hit their top speeds. And so, like, you could still catch up, but, like, if you get ahead, like, I guess that would be a speed tuning thing more than a rubber banding thing, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, regardless, the game is easy because of that. Like, it's not tuned very well. But that's what made the N64 version so cool, is because it actually has a debug menu where you can adjust all of that. Like, you can actually adjust the top speed of every craft, including your own, and actually feel like you're going insanely fast. And it could also make the CPUs way harder. And so, in the re-release, the 2020 re-release, I think you have to beat the game first before you can unlock that menu, but once you beat it, you can access all that stuff. And it's like, you can make it a seriously difficult experience. And I'm like, man, I kind of wish that this was the default. Like, it's so much more intense.
Well, I mean, for someone who's got hundreds of hours in it, that's probably good. You know,
Yeah,
that's a great
pretty much.
feature. For a newbie, that's maybe not so hot.
No, it wouldn't be.
Um,
But I mean, like, you could
something,
change it as you go through the cups,
yeah,
because I mean, that's the thing. Like, playing through the first cup really isn't that much different than playing through the last cup in terms of the actual AI difficulty. It's just that things are faster because you have the faster parts.
So, and with that too, I wanted to touch on, you mentioned the speed of it though. I will say, you know, like it it does feel more dated now, but at the time, like playing this in 99, it really did feel like you were, you know, zooming along.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
it I will say that the developers, I really captured that feel that you get from that scene in the movie. Like it very much feels like you're shooting along. Yep.
Feel the
Here.
force. 600 miles per hour, 4 feet from the ground.
So
It did.
yeah.
It really did nail the sense of speed. And I mean, that's pretty intense when you think of the N64 version too, because it has a wildly fluctuating frame rate.
Hmm.
And yet it still manages to feel incredibly fast.
Yep.
And I mean, that's one of the things that I never liked about Diddy Kong Racing. Like, you felt very stagnant. Like, I'm supposed to be going top speed, but it feels like I'm going nowhere. And that's one of the
Yeah.
reasons why I've never been into that game as much as other people. And so, yeah,
That
episode 1
game's honestly
Racer.
about the battle mode. Because also like the racing's fine, except the boss races. Like some of those are absolute trash. Like you talk about cheating rubber banding and stuff. Those boss fights, you know, I'm like
Oh, man.
miserable, some of them.
Yeah,
But
I'm going to be getting back to Diddy Kong Racing here soon on our marathon.
You have my condolences when it comes to the boss fights.
Yeah, I'm
But,
not
you know, the
looking
battle
forward to
mode,
it.
again, to the silliness, it's like, I'm just gonna drive around, I'm gonna stack rockets, you know?
Yeah. It's funny how so many people claim it to be one of their favorite N64 racing games, and I'm just like, man, it has just no sense of speed to me.
It probably goes back to, like, you like what you played, what you had, because
Yeah,
nowadays it's like, 'cause as kids, we didn't have backlogs as kids, like,
nah,
video games were a rare commodity, and
yeah.
you squeezed every ounce out of a game you got,
Ugh,
um,
yeah.
but that's, you know neither here nor there, but my so I don't fault somebody when they say that, like, that it's one of their favorite games. When they try to say that it's better than Mario Kart 64, I'm like, "Hold up. Let's let's not get crazy here, okay?"
Mario Kart 64 actually has a sense of speed to it.
It's like, look, there's nostalgia. You could say it's your favorite, and I won't fault you for that, but trying to say that it's objectively better than Mario Kart 64, I'm like, you need to step back and examine the biases in play here.
um,
Like, if I could
yeah.
sit here and say nice things about an episode 1 game, you all can calm down on the Mario Kart 64 games.
See, that's what's interesting about it, though, because it's like so many people will be like, "Oh yeah, it's the best racing game on the N64." It's like it has no sense of speed. Like if you don't have a racing game with a sense of speed, I think you failed. And Mario
Yeah.
Kart 64 definitely has a better sense of speed. And while Episode 1 Racer is not perfect, it does manage to capture that sense of speed in a believable way, even with the fluctuating frame rate. And then when you play it on Dreamcast, where it actually has a locked frame rate, it's like, oh my gosh, this feels so good. And then as you increase the frame rate from there, it just gets more and more like if it does manage to maintain a good sense of speed. Like I was playing on 120 FPS for this month, and like unfortunately, the faster the frame rate, the easier the game gets. So the N64 version is once again still the hardest version of the game, plainly because of the fluctuating frame rate going down into the low 20s. And then if you have the expansion pack, it just makes it even lower. And so, yeah, like it's not an optimized game
Right.
whatsoever. But back then, we just didn't give a crap because we weren't, little prisses that had to have everything be 100% locked all the time because CRT tech was better than modern display tech, so it didn't matter as much.
I was like, "Wait a minute. Did I just hear that the N64 game performs worse with an expansion pack in?"
Yes, most N64 games perform worse with the expansion pack
That's
enhancements
funny.
because they're pushing it further than what it was capable of. And a lot of times when you have the expansion pack, it changes the resolution from 240p to 480i, which again on CRTs it doesn't matter, but on modern displays that's pretty bad. But
Well, the day I learned.
yeah, that's why the Analog 3D's progressive output mode in one of the later patches was actually really cool. It makes it so the 480i games are in 480p, which is crazy. Um, but there's only one racing game on N64 would say nails the sense of speed better than Episode 1 Racer, and that is obviously F-Zero X, because that game runs at 60 FPS, and it just feels super solid to play. Once again, I don't know why I'm not more into it. I just am not, but like, it feels great. It looks basic as crap, but it feels great. But I mean, it had to look
Plus,
basic to run great.
and now I'm forgetting the name of the driver, because I remember some of them like Black Bull and Captain Falcon, and but I was like, the N64 through F-Zero X added a racer who his car looks a lot like the Batmobile from Batman Beyond,
Oh, nice.
and realized that when that game came out was like when Batman Beyond was, like on TV.
Yeah, that's cool.
Dude, he became my primary racer, and I'm like, oh yeah, we're Batman, and we're just, we're gonna win all these races.
It's fun.
Which is funny
Yeah,
because when you look at his racer, he's an old man, which kind of added a little bit to it. It's like, I'm old Bruce Wayne in the futuristic Batmobile.
nice. Yeah. So that's one thing I will always give Episode 1 Racer credit for is just feeling like it has a really good sense of speed. Like when you use
Yep.
the boost, you feel like you're flying, like it's fantastic. The sound effects being pulled from the movies, Well, I guess the N64 only has music on the final lap, and it's just the one track. So that this comment doesn't apply to the N64 version. But you know, like the score, the Star Wars score being
Yep.
present during races is it feels a little out of place for a lot of it actually, but you know, it's still nice to have. But yeah, like this game's audio just nails the feel 100%, and it's so cool. And they brought back a lot of the original actors and voice actors
Actors.
from Episode
Mhm.
1 Racer to portray their same characters in the game, which is really cool. So you had Jake Lloyd playing Anakin, which just let you have that nice feeling of continuity. I believe they had the voice actor for Sebulba do Sebulba, and a couple of the other ones too. So
The announcers, right? I think the
yeah, the
announcers are the
announcers are
same.
back. Yep,
They
gave
brought
them a
them
lot
back.
of not in the N64 version because it's missing the intro cutscenes for the levels, but like they really got to like expand again on the lore by using them to announce races and set up the track in the cutscenes in the Dreamcast and PC version. So it was really cool. But yeah,
It's funny to see since those just came out like within a year of the N64 version. If the N64 version may have got some of that if they hadn't been trying to meet the movie's deadline to release.
that's true. Like it is true. Because yeah, it was about a year later that the Dreamcast and PC version came out, right? Like
Yeah, which in the
2000
world of, video game development is not a lot of time.
camera. There we go. Um, but yeah, because N64 version was the primary platform. Like it came
Mhm.
out first, and the game was again built on the Star Wars Shadows of the Empire engine, so that really made sense that it came out first. In that regard. Um, and man, what a better optimization of that engine versus the swoop bike level we got. Like, holy crap, to know that this was built on basically the same engine is just like, wow, night and day difference. That's insane. Um,
Yeah, which I didn't know, and then you said it, and I was like, "Oh yeah, that does have a similar feel, but souped up."
yeah.
But I enjoyed the swoop bike level. That was one that I enjoyed replaying.
Oh
Actually, it's
man,
funny
I
because
hated that level.
see, and here's the funny thing is, so I, again, as a child at that age, when you got a game, you played it. It didn't really matter whether it was good or not. You played it because it was what you had.
Yeah. Well, I
So
mean, Shadows of the Empire is a great game. I just didn't like that
yeah,
level.
I just I had never done a third person shooter before, and uh, some of the platforming in that was wonky. Is feels
Oh
like
yeah.
too generous a term. But so I beat that game, and then I go back and like most of the time that I was doing replays, I was actually just doing the vehicle levels,
Same.
blasting asteroids, doing the speeder bike, doing the battle outside the Death Star. Like that was where I spent a lot of time in that
Oh
game.
man, Battle of Hoth, the very first level is where I spent so much time with Shadows of the Empire. And so I remember a little tangent here again. I remember when they were first announcing Rogue Squadron, the EGM article about it was if you like the first level of Shadows of the Empire, you are going to adore Rogue Squadron. Was like the big old tagline. And I was like, "Oh." Oh, and of course Rogue Squadron is still to this day one of my all-time favorite games, so oh yeah.
Good one.
Amazing game. Oh gosh. But yeah, like the fact that they were able to get this just to look, feel, run, sound the way it does on N64 feels like a friggin' black magic, you know? Even though the
Yep.
N64 was obviously more than capable of it, it's just that it didn't have as much audio and the cutscenes obviously weren't part of it just because of the cartridge size. But yeah, like going back to what you were saying about if it had come out a year later like the other versions, like think about what they might have been able to add to it because Angel Studios ported Resident Evil 2 from PS1 to N64 with basically no loss.
Yep.
Like quality is
That's
actually better in a lot of areas than the PS1 version. Obviously,
and
the cutscenes may not be as high quality, but
mhm.
at that resolution, you can't tell as easily.
And that's Resident Evil 2. I'm glad you called out because that's one of my examples. A lot of times when people like hand wave away the N64 and be like,
Oh,
"Oh,
yeah.
there was no memory," and I'm like, or the developers on that game didn't understand how to utilize what they had.
No, that's the whole thing. It's like optimization is a big deal. Obviously, you are going to be limited in some regards by storage space. Obviously,
Yeah,
64 megabytes
yeah,
is not going to
yeah.
equal 700 megabytes, but
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not trying to say that
yeah,
you aren't limited. It's not like no amount of data optimization is going to put Breath of the Wild on an N64 cartridge,
no.
but you know,
And I mean, that's obviously not a fair comparison anyway, considering how much more modern
no,
that
but
game is
just
too.
the number of arguments I've had with PS1 fanboys, and stuff. It's
Well,
like,
here's the thing to think about. Any PS1 and Saturn game could be ported to N64 with obviously necessary cuts to audio quality.
yeah,
There are N64 games that could never be ported to Saturn or PS1 just because of their technical limitations. It would have to be a completely different game.
hmm
So there's nothing PS1 and Saturn could do that N64 couldn't do, while there is plenty N64 could do that they could not do. And I mean,
yep,
obviously, you just look at the system specs and be like, yep, of course. Like, it's a no-brainer. Obviously, the way that developers would utilize those resources would make or break games every single time. Like, specs are obviously not end-all be-all, but
hmm
there's literally nothing that Saturn and PS1 could do that N64 couldn't if developers put in the time to actually do it with just the necessary cuts where they actually have to be. But I mean, you need to think about it this way. Like, even multi-cart N64 games are theoretically possible because once you hit the end of the first cart, you just make a save to your controller pack, you put in the next cart, load game, it checks to make sure that that flag is set that, like, yes, this is the cart they need to be on. And voila, you have a multi-cart game. Obviously, would have been expensive as none other, and that's why it
oh yeah,
didn't happen. That's why the
yeah,
disk drive was like such a big deal, and that's why everyone wanted it to come out because it still only had like a maximum storage space of like 64 megabytes, but you'd be able to make multiple of those
that you could
for
insert.
cheap. Like it was basically just a floppy disk, a zip disk.
Yep,
And so it would have been a very cheaper method of getting bigger games onto the system, but obviously it never panned out. But
but at least I got my F-Zero X game expansion.
I'm so sad that I didn't pull the trigger on a disk drive when it was $400, man. It's like, oh my gosh,
Yeah,
$400. That's way too ridiculous. And now I think about it, it's like I'd drop $400 in a heartbeat versus
I was very,
2000.
very I was very lucky that 2019 was the year that I decided to be financially irresponsible and pick up some of those like holy grail items because 2020 came along and made it impossible, man.
uh, tell me about it.
It's like, yeah, picked up like, Pokemon Box, Ruby and Sapphire,
Oh gosh.
Clay Fighter Sculptor's Cut, my 64 DD. Like, I had a year where my wife was not happy with my spending, but 2020 came along and I was like, do you see how good I did, even if accidentally?
Seriously though.
I
Oh my
accidentally
gosh.
did the right thing.
Oh my gosh, it's so absurd. Thankfully, episode 1 Racer is common enough that you don't have to worry about having to pay scalper prices for it. I think you could still find it pretty readily between 10 to 20 bucks. I think the Dreamcast version is going to be a bit more ridiculous for that because Dreamcast games are very scalper's paradise now. For even the cheap or even the more common ones. But yeah, you should be able to find N64 copy of this game for pretty cheap if you want to play on consoles. Obviously, the PC version is only about $10 on Steam or GOG, so that's one of the better ways to go, but you do have to put in some footwork to get it to run the best. And I did make a video about that for this month's Game of the Discussion podcast, so.
Yep, I saw that video. But yeah, actually, I was curious, pulled up price charting, and it's like this one it actually must have been fairly common because it doesn't hurt as bad as I would have thought. Because even the Dreamcast loose is about 18 bucks and complete is about 25.
That's actually
Like
better
that's
than I thought. I thought it was up to 50 again on Dreamcast.
which is funny actually because yeah, right now loose the N64 is going for about 14 bucks, but then the complete in box is going for 28. So right now it's more expensive to get this than it is to get the Dreamcast version.
That is actually pretty interesting because, again, a lot of Dreamcast stuff didn't have very high print runs because the system just didn't do well. So a lot of
I
Dreamcast
imagine
games are
it's
super expensive.
probably Star Wars driving the sales, I imagine.
Probably. Like, I can imagine this game got a second print run. Like, it was a good game, man. Good game.
Yeah, because I remember like probably one of the games I played the most on the Dreamcast was Power Battles. You
Oh,
have Star
yeah.
Wars that Jedi Battles, whatever that was
Yeah,
called.
Star Wars Jedi Power Battles. That's a fun co-op
Jedi
game.
Power Battles. Yep.
But yeah, I
And
like
that's
how
what it
that
was. It
game.
was
I love the way Dreamcast discs look, man. Like, I'm sorry, I just love how they actually gave us like just the standard disc, and then they actually put some on the hub as well.
yeah,
Like, I just loved the way that looked so much. Like, it just gave it a very unique feel. Speaking of interesting disc designs, though, so on OG Xbox, every Xbox game has Xbox around the spindle.
yeah.
So the holographic Xbox logos all over the place. There's a game that takes exception to that called Star Wars Obi-Wan, which uses this style of hub design.
Interesting.
Yeah, I remember when I first got Star Wars Obi-Wan, because I didn't own it back when Xbox was current. I picked it up later, and I'm like, the freaking bootleg is this? But no, it's just Star Wars Obi-Wan did not do the Xbox logos, which is interesting because it was a launch game, so I guess they didn't have to have the standardized thing then. So go figure. But
That's funny.
anyway, I'm glad to hear that the console versions are actually still pretty affordable, all things considered. Like $30 for complete in box, really not that bad, all things considered, for either of these systems. Like, that's really good. And I mean, I hate doing loose discs, obviously, so I'd always have to do
Yeah.
complete.
Hmm.
But that's really cool. But no, my copy of Episode 1 Racer that I have on my N64 is actually just another really, really mangled copy that I gave some TLC to. Like, it was... This was super gross when I bought it, because I was trying to be very, very frugal in my N64 game collecting when I started getting back into it in 2016. And so, like, in 2016, this game was probably like $8 to get, like nothing for a nicer copy. But I ended up getting this copy for like $1, and it was nasty. So it's actually got a repro label on it, and I never got around to getting a repro label for the back. Because,
repro.
well, I mean, it didn't have a label. It was $1. And so I got a repro label for it, and it's like, I probably could have gotten a nicer copy, and how much it cost to get this in the repro label, sure, but it's like, you know what? Like, this was... Someone loved this game. It deserves to be, like, nice again. And so I cleaned it up, and, like, you could still kind of see some rust on the, like, inner RF shielding that I wasn't able to fully get off, but it's like, dude, like, this thing has served me great for the last 10 years. And one of these days, I will get a better front repro label for it, because I know how to print my own now. And I can finally make a back repro label, too. And it'll be nice, because, like, when people do the repro labels, they put them on vinyl, so that way they last better. But it's like, nah, dude, I got the semi-gloss. I'm good to go, making this look legit. But, yeah. I think this is a game that anyone can easily add to their collection and just be happy with it, because it's just a nice, simple arcade futuristic racer. Has some depth to it, not over your head, and just a ton of fun too. And if you're a Star Wars fan that liked the prequels, even better. If you're a Star Wars fan that didn't like the prequels, you can still enjoy it. If you don't think too hard about it, I think.
If you don't let the rage boil and well up within you.
Exactly. But I don't really have anything else to really cover for Episode 1 Racer. I just think, again, it's a fantastic game. I think people should add it to their collection since it's friggin' cheap, all things considered. If you're a primarily PC player, you could get a PC version for dirt cheap. Like, there's really no barrier to entry for this one. and it's really nice. I think even on modern consoles, I think it's about $15 for the
That's what I was gonna
re-release.
say, and I think it's like that's the MSRP. So if you grab it like in May when all the Star Wars games go on sale,
Oh yeah,
anyways, or
get it
just
for
in
dirt
general,
cheap.
right? Wish list it and keep track of it.
Yeah,
You can probably get that for $10 or less.
yeah. And I mean, the remaster actually is good now. Like when it first came out, there was like some missing effects and stuff, and I criticized them for that quite heavily. And then they patched it in, and I was like, "Thank you." So yeah, the new HUD on the remaster, especially, is really nice. That's one of the things that sucks about the modern PC version is that the HUD does not look good. Even with the HD texture pack, the HUD does not look the best. It definitely improves it, but it's nowhere near the re-release quality. But filtering and all that stuff on the re-release is actually really good now. So, only problem is that again, it's too easy because you have 60 FPS instead of 30 of the Dreamcast, and then the 20 of the N64 version. Oh man. It's gonna be nuts playing the N64 version on the analog 3D with its overclock feature, man. Like it's gonna feel like the Dreamcast version at that point, and it's gonna be awesome. Because
I don't even know what to do.
that's honestly like the only thing that's different between these two versions of the game is frame rate. Because 480i, 480p, they basically have the same visual fidelity. It's just obviously this looks a bit sharper because it's 480p. And then 480i. But frame rate, oh my gosh.
Yeah, you talk about sharpness, but like on a 19-inch CRT, that didn't mean anything.
It did not.
480p versus 480i on a 19-inch screen doesn't mean
It
a
did not.
degree.
It's an impressive. Well, I mean, obviously, it's an N64 game ported to the Dreamcast,
Yeah,
so obviously, it's not going to look that much different. Like,
yeah.
it's just not. It's just not. Like, it's
Mhm.
not. The visual fidelity was set. It's not going to be that much different. But the fact that it is as similar as it is pretty cool for the N64 preference of for anyone that prefers N64 games. I don't know where I'm trying to word these words anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to playing it on the analog 3D because the new patch again, they made it so that they bypass the um digital analog converter, so it's going to be outputting the frame buffer at 480p instead of 480i, and then with the overclock, it's going to maintain that 30 FPS rate. So it's going to be like, dude, this is just going to be the Dreamcast version on this system. Like, this is insane. And I'm looking forward to that, but it's going to be a while before we get to 1999 in my N64 marathon, so we'll see it when we see it.
So scale of 1 to 10, what do you give this game?
8, solid 8, too easy. Too easy for me to give it a 9 now. Like, nostalgia, like personal side, 10 out of 10 every day, but it's like, no, objectively, it's about an 8. Like, it's a solid racing game, but it's too easy. Not as much content as I would like to see in it, but enough to be passable, especially for a $10 price point.
Yeah, for me, I was sitting here, I'm like, what do I do? Because like I do have so much just hatred for the prequel trilogy, just full disdain, disgust, loathing, that like, while Palpatine's telling Luke to let the hate flow through him, he turns to me, he's like, brother, please. Like, that's too much, you know? You know. No, you know, trying to strip that out and set the biases aside, I think I'd give this a 7. I think it's a decent little arcade racer. It'll feel dated for modern standards, but like if you like classic arcade racers and you're interested in getting some you know kind of unique mechanics that aren't present, like with the managing of your parts and things like that and the repairs and like give it a try. The like you were saying, the cost to entry is pretty low.
Yep. I mean, this is perfectly in impulse buying territory, honestly. Like, if you never played it, like, you're younger than us, starting to become a older folk. um, like, it's a good one. Like, my son plays this one and is starting to enjoy it a bit. So we'll see if he ever finishes it. He's got gaming ADD like crazy.
Well, he has so many games available, right?
That's true. It's true.
I was trying to get my daughter to play something on NSO, and the very first time she hits a challenge, she closes that game and goes and picks a different one. It's
Oh my
like,
gosh, yes.
it's like,
Ugh.
no, 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 no. This is the only game you own. This is the only thing you get to play for the next month, right?
Oh yeah, year.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what's
no,
funny.
because in a month you can, have saved up your allowance to go do a rental at the video
That's
store.
true. That's true. What's funny is I still have a $50 bet for my kids. First one to beat Lion King, I'll give them $50.
It's not even worth it, bro.
You beat that game in an hour.
For you who's thrown your head against the wall for hours and hours, I'm like, I wouldn't even play that game for $50. That's outrageous. No, I liked more the post I saw. One parent says, like, I told my son that he can get a PS5 when he beats TMNT on the NES, and I'm like, that's savage.
Oh my gosh. And
That's
think of
full
how expensive
savage.
that bet is now, considering all the prices went up by $150.
Yep.
Modern
Well, that's all
gaming,
right. Your
y'all.
kid's never gonna do it.
Modern gaming, y'all.
Yep.
My gosh.
One thing I was thinking about too that we didn't talk about. I didn't do it in my run. I know this is a feature in the game on the N64 specifically that you can do dual controller.
Oh, yes. We didn't even
We should prob-
talk about that. Dang.
no, but before we sign off, because we talked controls earlier, we would be remiss if we didn't talk
Oh,
about
we totally
that
would. This is
that
such a
setup.
great feature. It is so hard to play the game this way. But you could do a password on the N64 version to let you play with two N64 controllers, and each one controlled that side's engine. And so you would have to push up on both to go forward. And if you wanted to turn right, you would pull back on the right stick and up on the left stick so you would turn. And if you want to go that way, like, oh my gosh, you want to brake, you pull back down on both. Like, it is so hard to master, but it is so freaking cool at the same time. It makes it feel like the arcade release. And that's the other thing we didn't even talk about. They came out with a whole separate literal arcade episode 1 racer game where you actually like got to sit in Anakin's pod and like play it. Like that was insane. I only ever got to try it once, so not a lot of memories there, but yeah, having that dual analog mode in the N64 version, like, oh my gosh, I wish they had made that standard instead of needing a passcode. Like that is crazy. And I wish that they had implemented that in the PC version somehow. But oh well. Oh well. It is what it is. But go play episode 1 Racer. It will give you a nice weekend's worth of distraction, even if you aren't the best at racing games. Again, it is incredibly short. You'll be able to get through this one. Like, honestly, if you just dedicate the time to it, you could get through it in an afternoon without any serious issues, except for one of the later tracks, which is really hard because you could fall off and have to go twice as far to get to one area. And yeah, it's the only track that's still hard in the game. Anyway.
So I did a price check. For anywhere between the low price of $6,000 and $7,500, you could own your own episode 1 arcade racing machine.
Honestly, if I had room,
Mm.
I'm tempted.
No, trust me. Like probably once a year I go and I price check, the F-Zero AX machine.
Oh my gosh.
And around that time I'll, price check the some of the Mario Kart arcade machines, or a vintage TMNT Turtles in Time. And I always have to remind I'm like, it's like I can't. That's pushing things too far.
I want a Halo Fireteam Raven cabinet.
I don't even know what that is. Now I gotta go Google.
It is set during Halo CE, so it starts with the Pillar of Autumn being invaded, and you're playing as like an ODST squad. And so you're evacuating the Pillar of Autumn, you're going down to Halo and like setting up the fire base and all that. Like it was cool. Like it's a
Is
cool
that a rail shooter?
Yeah, it's a rail shooter. But
Nice.
it's 4-player on some of them.
Ooh.
Like you could get up to 4 players if you have a double connection, otherwise it's 2. And it's like on a like 50-inch LCD, like with light guns. Like it's so good. It's so good. I think the arcade machine costs like $50,000 though. But I found out that the Fat Cats near us has one, and so I played through the entirety of it with my kids. Like I was like, we are spending the money to play through this whole thing.
Nice.
So what was cool is when it came out originally, you could sign into your Xbox Live account and earn
Ah,
achievements and stuff. I think maybe not achievements, but I don't really remember. But so like my Halo 5 actually has the like Fireteam Raven name or my OD MCC. Gosh dang, man. My MCC profile has the Fireteam Raven banner that you could only unlock by playing the arcade game. And so
that's
that's what I
funny.
still use for my MCC banner because it was just
You're
so cool.
flexing on everybody.
Yep, exactly. It was like when I had the marathon nameplate during Halo 3 days because I had the marathon to Xbox Live Arcade because then you could swap to that if you owned that. So I was like, yeah, I got that. And
Nice.
then in Halo 2, you could have the little seventh column symbol on your name tag if you were a member of the Bungie website. So I had that too. Like, just making myself sad, man. These were better times.
Back when the online community was more fun.
Back when online was
Like,
actually enjoyable and not full of a bunch of cheaters
nice.
and crackheads and, all that.
I was gonna say, like, I remember the first Borderlands game had an achievement that you could only get if you encountered one of the Gearbox employees online or encountered someone else who had the achievement unlocked.
Yep.
So it was kind of like a virus style achievement.
Yeah, I loved those achievements. They had those in Halo 3 as well. I think they had a Reach one too. Um yeah, I miss fun things like that, man. I'm sorry. Like online communities nowadays are just such cesspools of toxic cancer. I avoid them. It's
Good
like I
thing you're
want
not
to
a
try to get
content
into a
creator for a living.
I
That'd be
want to
difficult.
I want to try to get into a community for a game, and it's just like I just can't. Like I just can't. Like the fandom is just always so terrible. And then time commitments and all that. It's like I don't got time for that crap anymore. Oh well.
I've become so happy with my gaming since I just ceased interacting with online
Oh yeah.
communities.
Oh yeah.
Like, man, Smash Brothers is so much fun when you don't talk to anybody about it. You just
Uh
play.
I have my personal reasons why I can
I know,
never
and
like truly
I
appreciate
understand.
those games ever again.
I understand.
I need to send you a screenshot though. But anyway, I think we're done talking about episode 1 racers, so we don't need to just keep people sitting here for our tangent, I guess. So thank you for
Well, they're
joining us.
here because they want to support you. They like hearing your ideas. They tolerate my presence, you know.
I guess so. Watch the streams. Anyway, we're going to call it here for our 46th Game of the Month discussion for Star Wars Episode 1 Racer. Again, fantastic classic arcade racing game from 1999. Always happy to revisit this one. Have no idea what we're doing for our next month, but we're coming up on the 5-year mark for this game's
4 year.
4-year mark for the Game of the Month discussion. I'm off by an entire year here, like good times. So we're gonna have
What
to
you
think
doing
of
now to
something fun for
multiply
that
by
one.
12 quickly? Anyways, that's neither here nor there, my friend. But
Yeah. Take it easy, everybody. We'll see you back next month.
see you.